What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dub coming live national, the True Players Podcast episode on Thanksgiving Eve. Hope everybody's getting their dinner ready for Turkey Day tomorrow. I know some people don't celebrate it, so that's, it is what it is. People could do whatever they want to do, but I'm going to celebrate Thanksgiving, be thankful for the life that my mother has given me. Because the reason I say this is because tomorrow will mark her exact 7 years of her passing. 12:04 p.m. tomorrow will be effectively 7 years since she left this earth to go be with God. And tomorrow's is going to be bittersweet for me, but I'm going to try to make the best of the day, the best of the situation by celebrating with the family as always. I could be back tomorrow with another podcast. I can't promise you that. Me and Joy G may be back together tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. But let's talk about today. A lot of things has happened since the weekend. A lot of news happening, especially in the world of Major League Baseball, just on the eve of the December hot stove winter meetings, in which the Mets made a big move, a move that they believe could possibly put them on over the top as far as getting a Gold Glove second baseman from the Texas Rangers, marcussemien from the Rangers. I want to talk about that trade. They traded away Brandon Nimmo. Look, I for me, I was kind of 50-50 on trading Nimmo, but the only way I would have traded Nimmo was to get back starting pitching. I understand, Nimmo did have a good year for us last year. He was a homegrown New York Mets player. He was with the team for 9 years. You understand? So it's a little bit of a sentimental disconnection with us Mets fans and Brandon Nimmo. I call him Nemo, but his actual pronunciation is Nimmo. But, we want to wish him the best over there in Texas. He did waive his no trade clause to go to Texas with the help of Jacob.DeGrom. He asked Jacob DeGrom how it is over there in Texas, and Jacob DeGrom gave him the thumbs up. And therefore he pretty much waived his no trade clause and went to go be with Texas because he feels that possibly Texas is the better team to get him to where he wants to be as far as winning a championship. I disagree, but a lot of it is, I believe, David Stern's trying to shake things up in the locker room, trying to shake things up. Probably they harbor ill will because it was Nimmo that introduced Pete Alonso to Scott Boras. Maybe there's some ill will that we don't know about. But the one thing I'm going to say about this too, a lot of people trying to lump in Mamdani as the new mayor of New York starting in January of next year, which is about a month from now, a little bit over a month from now. And I want to let's not start any bullshit stories about why Nimmo decided to leave the New York Mets. All right, let's just stick to the facts here. Okay, we don't know his feelings about Mamdani. If we're gonna hear his feelings about Mamdani, let him say it out of his own mouth. Don't assume shit. Don't assume anything. What that man is thinking. He felt he had the opportunity to go to a better team. A better opportunity to go to a city where there's no sales tax. There's no state tax. He's probably gonna get more bang for his buck. For how you doing, Randall? He may get more bang for his buck, of his contract. But this is where the New York Mets got it wrong. And I felt you're taking back a contract. Marcus is making $25 million a year. You're trying to, hey Owen, you're trying to get money to pay for Alonso and Edwin Diaz. You understand what I'm saying? So why would you take on a bigger contract with an older player? On top of that, that's what bothers me most about the trade, is that aspect. And for me, just starting it off is not really and I talk about it a lot on this podcast. If you guys watch my episode, all you guys who are commenting, like and follow me. I like to get my followers up, like and follow me, and tell your friends about the podcast. But the one thing I like to speak about on my podcast is the equitable spending. And in this sense, the New York Mets, I don't think this is an equitable signing. An equitable trade as far as the finances that's involved in it. You got an older player who's on a decline. Yes, he won 3 Gold Gloves. Yes, he's been to a couple of All-Star games. Yes, he won a World Series. He did all those things. But how does that make that team better? His stats has been declining over the past couple of years since that World Series win. So my question to you, everyone, is: do you feel that? Thank you, Owen. Thank you very much. And do you feel this trade was do you agree with this trade of trading Brandon Nimmo for marcussemien? Do you feel it's going to put the Mets over the edge, over the top? And what steps do you feel is going to come after that trade? What steps do you feel is going to come after that trade happens? All right, food for thought, guys. Food for thought. I'm gonna post a link here on if you guys want to jump on and join me on the podcast, whether you're on camera, on strictly audio. Don't be camera shy. I don't bite. I want to hear your thoughts on what I just asked. But let's get into more of what I feel about the New York Mets trade. What does it open up for? Okay, you still got Jeff McNeil on the team, which I feel he has no place at second base. That's going to be Semien's place, which I don't agree with that because you already had your second baseman, and you got young talent who could play that position with the same stellar top-notch defense that you're looking to shore up on that team. You want to make sure this team is going to cut down giving up runs with defense. You already had players on the team who could play that defense. Maybe not have not offensively mature yet to carry the burden of that position, but you got players who could play that. Definitely could have players to play that. So you got Mauricio, who's down in winter ball right now. We got Luis Angel Acuna, that's down in the winter ball where he got injured by being hit by a pitcher. You got Beatty, who could definitely slide over to second base at some point to play that position. You may need a defensive replacement late in the later innings, but his bat is going to be essential. Me from a standpoint is it takes you out of the running. Let's say you want to get Alex Bregman to play third base. Okay? Play Alex Bregman, third base. You keep Nimmo in the outfield. You got Beatty over there in second base. You trade McNeil for a starting pitcher or a top-notch bullpen to go with re-signing Edwin Diaz in that bullpen. You know? This is the process I'm going through my mind, and I'm not a general manager. And this is what I'm throwing out there. Okay. It does clog up to some things now. Now, do you package Jeff McNeil with possibly a Ronnie Mauricio or a Luis Angel Acuna for that big time starting pitching to go with the 3 young studs? I think Jonah Tong is going to be the one that's going to be starting in AAA. So you got 4 spots. You got Manaea, McLean, Peterson, who they just tendered a contract to, Senga, and whoever you bring in to fill in that 5th spot to cover the injuries to Tyler McGill and Griffin Canning, to cover that part of it. So my thing is, though, if I would, the way I would have done it, I would have made any trades until I secure the re-signing of Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso. I would not have made those trades until I got those guys signed, because it changes a lot of things. Nimmo was very close to Pete Alonso. How do you think that's going to make him feel, knowing that his friend has been traded over to Texas? You know, you gotta figure those things out. You gotta think things through. Um, in my opinion, I didn't think David Stearns fully thought it through, but I got to see what his next move is going to be. That's the most important part. The next move is going to be vital to see if this trade right now is going to be successful. If you're going to trade Nimmo to get to get a starting pitcher by giving up one of your young chips, okay. Now it puts you in the running to now sign an outfielder to play left field. That puts you in that situation. So there's a lot of moves that you can make right now. I feel that as far as DH is concerned, and before I talk about the DH situation, I understand that they want to give Carson Benji, they're going to give Carson Benji every opportunity to make this team out of spring training for this coming season. They're going to give Carson Benji full opportunity to win that starting center fielder's job in the outfield. So we'll see what the Mets go from here. But for me, most important thing in this opportunity that the Mets have in the season that they failed. They went from National League Championship Series to not making the playoffs the season after. Okay, so let's see how the Mets deal with it. I'm anxious to see how they're going to handle the situation. To be honest with you, I honestly really want to see that happen. But on that note, we're gonna talk about the NFL Week 12. New York Jets, New York Giants, both losing. The Giants losing the same way they lose each and every time. Get a lead and then blow it in the second half. And in that essence is that Bowens was fired as defensive coordinator. But you saw that coming. Mike Kafka made the decision. We're going to fire the defensive coordinator. He's been failing to keep leads. Because the Giants did a hell of a job getting a lead. Let me tell you something about Jameis Winston, guys. I like Jameis Winston as a quarterback, and I truly believe that if Aaron Glenn had his eyes open and not been stuck on Justin Fields because he couldn't tackle him as defensive coordinator with the Lions, you had another quarterback you could have definitely signed in Jameis Winston and possibly lead this Jets team. In my opinion, I may be of the small opinion, but yeah, he could have been that bridge quarterback that you needed. In my opinion, a better bridge quarterback than Justin Fields. You overpaid. The Giants only paying Jameis Winston $8 million for 2 years, making $4 million a year. And every time this guy steps on the field, I don't know, Jameis Winston has a funny way of making things exciting, even though his team loses. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. But for me, it seems like you always have a hope when he's behind. For some reason, what I've seen when he played these first two games, these last two games for the Giants as starting quarterback, you left feeling like the Giants had every opportunity to win the football game. Granted, he's subbing in for Jackson Dart. I get it. But think about the Giants for a second here, okay? Before I get into the full recap. Think about it, what the Giants have right now in the offensive room right now and how explosive this offense could be for now and into the future. You got Isaiah Hodgins, who they got back from the practice squad. I believe he was on someone's practice squad. They re-signed him, okay? You got Wandell Robinson, who had 100 receiving yards in the first quarter of that game against the Lions. The Lions did not play well. The Lions did not deserve to win that game. It was just a matter that they had the better talent. But you look at both of these teams. I mean, the Giants took them to overtime. And the Giants should have won this football game. It should never have went to overtime. I mean, there was some coaching decisions that was made, whether or not was it to go kick the field goal to make it a 6-point lead rather than try to get the touchdown. Nevertheless, I think as far as Mike Kafka's concerned, him going for the touchdown in that situation was the best decision, because the only reason being, after they failed fourth down attempt, the Lions was able to get 3 points. Now, if they would have scored, if the Giants were able to score that touchdown, you go from, there's a 7-point swing there. The Giants score a touchdown, they're up 10. I believe they're up 10, and the game is pretty much done. Now, if you go up, you kick the field goal. I'm sorry, I'm probably getting the game wrong here. I believe. Hold my thought. Someone, if you're any Giants fans, fill me in on that game. I forgot the sequence, but when you guys let me know about that, I believe it was they kicked the field goal to tie the game. I believe after the fact they didn't go for the field goal. You know what? I could be wrong. But anyway. Yeah, it would have put the Giants up by 6. And then they would have needed a touchdown to the Lions would have needed a touchdown to win that game. But the way the Lions was moving the football, if they needed a touchdown, they would have got it. They would have got it. So, but big, when you have a team that the Giants had more total yardage than the Lions did in that football game. There's no reason why they should have lost this football game. No reason whatsoever. No reason. The Giants. I'm looking at the Giants' entire season. They're 2-10 right now. If the defense could just hold on to the leads, at worst they're 6-6 and possibly fight for a playoff spot right now. 6-6, at least fighting for a playoff spot. But they're 2-10. They could, again, the Giants couldn't stop the run. Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 264 yards of total offense, 15 carries for 219 yards, including a touchdown in overtime. But I was kind of confused because they had the ball first. They scored a touchdown on that first possession. I don't know if you guys can help me out on this. Shouldn't the game have been over? They seem to continue to play the game, give the Giants an opportunity to have a possession in overtime as well, even though the Lions scored a touchdown. I thought if they have kicked a field goal, the Giants would then get a possession. If they scored a touchdown, the game was over. So I'm probably missing the fact they probably changed the rules for that. So you guys fill me in on that. But nevertheless, this is a game the Giants should have won. The defense coordinator got fired for this, which I thought he should have been fired a long time ago. You can't keep blowing leads like that. Can't keep blowing leads like this. But like I said, let's get back to what the offense could look like next season. You got Jackson Dart as quarterback for next season. You got your receiver room, which is explosive. You got Neighbors, Hodgins, and Hodgins was definitely in Robinson, and you got Theo Johnson as your tight end. With Bellinger, I think the Bellinger as a second tight end. This offense could be explosive. You got Scatterbo coming back next season off his injury. This offense for next season, the Giants got a good future ahead of them offensively. Just have to draft more offensive linemen, and then draft offensive linemen and I think, in my opinion, guys, I think they should definitely look to draft another running back to go with Scatterbo. I'm not a big fan of Tyrone with Tyrone Tracy. I'm not a big fan of Singletary. So they're both Singletary could stay in special teams and return kickoffs. I'm not a big fan of Tyrone Tracy. I'm just not. I think the Giants should definitely look for another running back to go with Scatterbo for next season. And dare I say it, I'm as a Jet fan, and Breece Hall is a free agent. You put Breece Hall and Scatterbo in that backfield for the Giants, along with those three receivers and a tight end, could have a great offense there. Could definitely have a great offense there, but I guarantee you, the Jets would not let Breece Hall leave that team. So the Giants lost in overtime 34-27. They move on. They're playing who they're playing. I believe they're playing the Patriots this week, which is probably going to be another loss for them. But we got to hope for the best. They're playing in New England this coming Sunday. And we're going to segue over to the New York Jets. I think this is where we have to talk. We have to talk about the New York Jets briefly, and then we're going to talk about Knicks. The New York Jets lost to the Ravens 23-10. They had a 7-3 lead at halftime. Okay. The Baltimore Ravens on both sides of the football was not at their best. The Jets did have opportunities to seal the game. John Mechie had a hell of a game. He had 6 catches for 65 yards and a TD. He kept on getting open. Tyrodtaylor was played decently. He only had 222 yards and a TD. 17-28 passing, but the offense looked different. It looked like they had a rhythm to the offense as far as the passing side of the football. But there was some questionable calls by the offense coordinator I didn't like, which led to I'm going to talk about the big point of the football game when Aaron Glenn went for it on fourth down in the third quarter at his own 42-yard line. And a very suspect call they made on third down, which led to the running the football with Isaiah Davis on fourth down for the 2 yards. My question is, as many as other announcers have been said before I said it, is why wasn't Breece Hall on the field on fourth down? Could they have had a better offensive play call made for fourth down and third down? Kick the ball. The Raven offense, Lamar Jackson still look hurt. If I was the head coach of the New York Jets, I would have punted that football and forced them to drive down the field with that offense. The only reason why the Ravens came back and won the football game because they had the offense playing with a shorter field in the second half. And the first half, the defense played their best football of the entire season. Granted, there was some stupid penalties. The Jets were 3rd and 15. A dumb penalty happened. A pass interference penalty happened when the ball was clearly not catchable. Why are you grabbing a guy? Why are you grabbing a guy to keep him from catching the ball that was not catchable? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I don't believe it was Cisco. I forgot the name of the player that did that. Cisco had a boneheaded pass interference call in the end zone, which I think he's not. I mean, not Cisco. Tony Adams. Yeah, the Jets need to all those draft picks. The Jets need to find some safeties. I think we're fine with Malachi more on the other safety. We need another safety because these guys are trash. I would have punted the ball and let the Ravens drive down the field. They held down Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry only had 21 carries for 64 yards, but you know what it is with Derrick Henry. It's not about the yardage. It's not what he does in the first half. It's what he does to you after taking that beating from him in the first half, and he goes the second half, he wears you down. That's what he gets his big plays at. And we couldn't stop Zay Flowers for nothing. AZ had a tough game. Also a bad pass interference call on him as well. Zay Flowers had 5 receptions for 58 yards. Mitchell for the Jets had 2 receptions for 42 yards. Mason Taylor with 3 receptions for 21 yards. And The big fumble that happened, the Jets was down 17-7. Breecehall was fighting for extra yards to try to get to the end zone, and he fumbled the ball at the goal line. And I know he felt bad. He let his team down. Aaron Glenn was definitely went over to console him. The defense went over there to console him. But let me explain to you why I felt that fumble happened with Breecehall. Yes, he didn't protect the ball, but it was something else outside of that. He's trying to pick up his coach for the bad decision for going 4th and 2 in the third quarter. He's trying to make up for his coach. He's trying to pick his coach up. That's why he was fighting for more yards, in my opinion. In my opinion. You may agree with me or not agree with me, but I truly believe that was the case. Breecehall was trying to pick up his coach. Because this game was squarely not 80%, 90% is on Aaron Glenn. This loss, squarely on him. I don't even hold the fumble as the reason why they lost. Because the player was trying to pick up his coach. Which in many ways makes the coach look good because the team believes in the direction that this coach is bringing them to. The record may not reflect that, but the team definitely likes the coach. They want to play hard for the coach, and they're playing for their jobs for next season. They want to be part of the resurrection of the New York Jets franchise into possibly a playoff team once again. And that's what I saw there. I saw a player a player who's a free agent at the end of the season playing hard for a coach, for a rookie head coach. That's what I saw. If you guys don't believe me, if you don't agree with me, let me know. Hit me up. Let me know. You know what I'm saying? Let me know. So, as we get ready to wrap up this podcast, I want to talk briefly about the New York Knicks and the swirling rumors that's going on right now in the NBA about the Knicks and Anthony Davis. And the projected trade is Anthony Davis straight up for Karl Anthony Towns. I'm not making that trade, period. I'm not making that trade. Absolutely not. Anthony Davis is like Ben Simmons in the sense of he can't stay on the court. He's always hurt. Much more stronger mentally than Ben Simmons, but he just can't stay on the court. Granted, when he's on the court, he's probably a top 5 player in the NBA. But I also believe Karl Anthony Towns is a top 5 player and top 10 player in the NBA as well. He's just getting used to New York. He's getting used to Mike Brown's offense. This is a trade I'm not going to do, even if you have to give up Robinson and OG, which you have to give up OG because of the salary that they're taking back, and some more people. You may lose Deuce as well. For all that, for Anthony Davis, who can't stay on the court, when's the last time he played a full 82 games? Let alone play more than 60 games a season. When was the last time that happened? Knicks need to stand pat and see what this team can do. Maybe get another backup point guard in there. Most importantly, you need somebody you could be physical. Get a bruiser, get a body in there. I'm starting to see that Yabusele may be a bad signing. I think you were better off having someone. I don't think with all the offensive talent you have coming off the bench with Jordan Clarkson and Deuce and Shamet, I don't think you need someone in the power forward position to stretch the floor. I think you need a bruiser. You need somebody who can go up there and grab rebounds. That's how I felt the opportunity to bring back Precious Achiuwa after he was cut by Miami. I think that's probably the way to go, or someone close to that who is much more polished offensively. I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing out there because for me it makes sense. You got Yabusele over there, and they just signed him They just signed him in the offseason. I don't think they can trade him until February. Technically they could trade him in December, but they have to wait till the trading deadline to trade him. But what's going to bother the Knicks is the early season injuries. With OG Anunoby out with an injury, you had Brunson miss a game, and Robinson is on load management because of his ankles. So the key players are not on the court right now. And when I see them, yes, they beat Brooklyn the other night, but they lost to Orlando twice already. They played Orlando twice. They lost to them two times because they got physically beaten by a team that wasn't in the playoffs last season, but was not talking about being a top team in the East. Was not talking about that. And think about that for the seconds, Nick. Think about this deep, Knick fans. One thing. Orlando is physical. Wagner is a talented player. Bane could hit an open three-pointer. And Bane could score, period. You're playing, that team is really out physical the Knicks in both games. And you know what? This is where a red flag comes in, because the Knicks' arch nemesis from last season in the first round, they haven't played the Detroit Pistons yet. And you thought Orlando's physical? Detroit is just as physical, but more talented in the key positions. You got Duren, you got Cunningham, you got Ivy. Knicks haven't played the better team yet, and that's the top team in the East right now, record-wise. They're the top team in the East. And they're much more physical. They're much more of a better team than Orlando. Knicks struggled with Orlando. They got flustered and all that fun stuff. Look, now you need somebody who's a physical player. If you're gonna make a trade for a physical player who could grab some rebounds and get buckets. To help out Brunson and Cat. Without trading Mitchell. I think you have to trade Yabusele. And you got Shamus, who's out with an injury. He's day-to-day with a right shoulder strain. That's the same shoulder he injured last season. So who knows how he'll be when he came back. I'm really happy for him. He dropped his career-high 36 points a couple of games ago, when Brunson was out. So this is the next team is, look, they're 10-6 or 9-6 right now. Still early. They're still learning Mike Brown's system. But already for me, as a fan, I'm quite sure if I had Matthew on the show with me, he would definitely agree with me. What the biggest red flag is that this team is not mentally prepared for the physical tough teams in the NBA yet. They're not ready for that. And this is a big risk. Everyone is putting the Knicks as a team to be in the NBA Finals this season. But what I'm showing right now, after 16 games, they may not last 5 games against the top team, which is Detroit. And I think that's going to be their nemesis in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to be Detroit. Book it right now. New York Knicks, Detroit Pistons, Eastern Conference Finals. Book it. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end the podcast. I want to thank everybody who commented on the podcast. I thank you for the comments and well wishes. Shout out. I'm going to give a big shout out to Randall. Big shout out to them for commenting. I'll give a big shout out to Owen. Definitely. Thank you for the well wishes and comments. Definitely like, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook at truplayazpodcast on Facebook. Like and follow me on Instagram at truplayazpodcast. Follow me on all those platforms, ladies and gentlemen, and tell your friends about the podcast, because I'm on a mission right now to get myself before the end of the year 100 subscribers, and then next year we continue to grow. So on that note, everyone, if you don't see me online on a podcast episode of Joey G tomorrow, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day, and enjoy well and be well with your families, and be thankful for God to give you another opportunity to wake up tomorrow morning, to spend time with your loved ones. On that note, Peace. God bless. Hit y'all the next episode. Peace.